That day, Marie came early to Annika's house. She will babysitting for the baby of Annika. Annika had applied for work and today has an interview for the job. Marie has work, but she is on holiday. If Annika would be accepted for the job, then a daycare center for her baby was an option. George, the man of Annika, worked as an international truck driver and was always away from house. Marie and Annika were cousins. Annika is still eating her breakfast when Marie came. Marie made coffee for herself and sat down by the dining table. While eating, Annika told Marie her dream that night. It is about a red car.
A red car?
Yes, a nice expensive red sports car.
Annika answered Marie while still chewing the foods in her mouth. She was so excited telling about her dream.
Maybe your future car. You wanted it very much to have a car, and now that you had a chance to have a work, it would not take long you can buy one.
Maybe, but it was a strange dream.
Why strange?
I am standing in the waiting shed, waiting for a bus. Suddenly this red car stopped in front of me. The driver of the red car opened the door at the passenger seat next him and invited me to get in. I was so enchanted with the car. I walked around it, but when I touched, it was very cold like ice. The man came out his car and walked toward me with a big smile. He asked me if I like his car and I said yes. He is a good-looking man, neatly dressed and looked very respectable.
It's just a dream.
I accepted his invitation. I get in his car with no hesitation. Then he handed me a piece of paper. When I looked at, I saw what was written on it. A plate number of a car. I looked at him askingly, and he answered me that it was the plate number of his car, the red car.
And then?
I asked him why did he's giving me the plate number of his car. His answer puzzled me.
Why? What is his answer?
He answered me that maybe knowing the plate number of his car would give justice to me.
What does he mean?
I do not know.
You did not ask him.
The alarm clock went on. I wake up.
Well, it's just a dream.
After a while, Marie said but in herself. Marie seemed not contented why the man in Annika's dream gave the plate number of his car to Annika.
It was very clear. Look.
Annika handed to Marie a piece of paper. Marie looked at the piece of paper in which was written the plate number Annika was talking about.
Is this the piece of paper that man in your dream given to you?
Of course not, you silly. How could my dream produce a piece of paper in Real? What I noted in there, that was the plate number. Most of the time I forget my dreams when I wake up, but this one just stayed hanging in my mind.
Oh, okay. I thought this was precisely the piece of paper from your dream, then I could say it's bizarre.
Marie laughs, and Annika also laughed with Marie, who always, in whatever circumstances, find humor.
From the interview, I will buy a lotto at the store in the corner. I will use the number I noted from my dream.
Again? For many years you played lotto but never win.
This time maybe I win. But I guess you're right. Anyway, I could not form 6 numbers from this.
And Annika scrambled the piece of paper and threw it away into the garbage can. 10 o'clock, Marie had just bathed and clothed little Errol when the telephone rang. It was from the office of which Annika must be. Annika had a friend that worked in there, and it was her who introduced Annika for the work. Janet, the friend, was worried that's why she called. Her appointment was at 9 o'clock in the morning, but Annika was no-show. Annika left the house at 8:15 o'clock, so it was very strange for Annika not coming to a job interview. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The office or Janet did not call again, and Marie expected that Annika had showed anyway for the job interview, but Marie could not explain to herself a kind of uneasy feeling. As she expected that Annika should be long home already, Marie called the office and asked for Janet, and the answer of Janet shocked Marie. Annika did not show up. Marie called the parents of Annika, and they also do not know where Annika is. Marie called more people of which she thought Annika could be, but all the same, they did not see or know where Annika is. Marie panicked. George, the man of Annika, had called that he's coming home around 9 o'clock in the evening, so she decided to just wait for him before she reports the missing of Annika. 9:30 in the evening when George arrived. He was upset because he doesn't know that Annika was busy with a job, and now Annika did not come home. Because George and Annika have no car of their own, Marie let George use her car to look for Annika, and if he could not find Annika, then he will go to the police. Marie stayed awake the whole night. George went home about after midnight, frustrated and worried. The next morning, tired George was still sleeping, and Marie was in the kitchen preparing breakfast for her, George, and the baby. When she threw the eggshell into the garbage can, she remembered about the piece of paper that Annika threw earlier. Annika had told about what the man in her dream said, that the plate number could help for her to have justice. Marie picked out from the garbage can the crumbled piece of paper and put it in her pocket. They already finished their breakfast, and Marie was preparing the little Errol to bring to Annika's mother. She would babysit Errol if Marie had something to do. Then the telephone rang. It was the mother of Annika, who was in panic.
Look at the morning news on TV.
Marie quickly opened the television to look at the morning news. It was something about a naked woman found dead floating in the canal. The face shown as the police was asking who from the viewers could recognize the victim. The face of Marie became pale, and she looked at George, who was like frozen, nailed where he stood. The face shown on the TV was Annika. George called the police and told them that maybe the woman in the news was his wife, Annika. He reported last night as missing. The police invited George to come to the police station to identify the body. It was a sad news for the whole family. The woman found naked and dead was indeed Annika. Marie wanted to tell the family about the dream of Annika and of the plate number of the red car in her dream, but she doubted if the family would believe her. She told the family about it anyway, and they found it nonsense. They said that it was just nonsense. A dream was just a dream, and besides, in the investigation of the police, there's no red car involved. Annika was cremated, and few months already gone since the fatal day, but Marie was still disturbed and could not forget about what happened to Annika. The dream of Annika about the red car kept banging her mind that she must do something. She told the family and friends about it, but they just said to her to forget everything. Dreams were just dreams and have no meanings at all. But one day, Marie was frightened and panicked. She parked her car in the parking lot near where she worked when she saw a red sports car parking just next where she's parking. She saw a good-looking man who smiled at her when he noticed her. Marie, to cover up her panicking, forced a smile as reply. When the man walked away, Marie decided to look at the plate number of his red sports car, and the car had the same plate number that Annika dreamed about. The plate number that was already printed in Marie's mind. In her office, Marie could not concentrate working. She decided to call George, who did not work anymore as a truck driver. George worked in the factory of packing boxes. His son, Errol, was in the care of the mother of Annika. George decided to change work so that he could see Errol every day.
Marie, you said to my team leader that you want to talk to me for something urgent.
Yes, it's about the red car. You won't believe it. Today I see the red car and it has the same plate number as what Annika dreamed.
You disturbed me from my work just because of that. Forgot about Annika and that stupid dream of her. Bye, Marie.
George, wait. I thought you would be glad with my news because it means the mystery of Annika's death would be solved. You were hurt, and I thought to know what really happened to Annika could close her grieving. A start of healing for her loss.
Marie, what happened to Annika was still hurting me, but I must move on. I must for the sake of our son Errol. You too, you have to forget about Annika. You also have to move on.
That night, Marie could not sleep, for besides being so disappointed to the reaction of George, the thought that she had seen before the man of the red sports car just kept hammering, but she could not figure when and where. She stood up from her bed and went to the kitchen. She took a glass of milk and warmed it in the magnetron. She sat down, and while drinking her warm milk, her thought was on Annika. They were cousins, but besides that, they were best friends. They do not have secrets to each other. She was an only child, and when her parents both passed away, she inherited the house where she was now living. Annika, on the other hand, have one sister and two brothers that's still living with their parents, and Annika married George and rented an apartment for themselves. George was always away because of his work, and Annika would come to her and stayed for days and only go home when George was coming home. She worked, and Annika wanted it very much to work too. George earned not so much. They even could not buy a car until Annika got pregnant and had a baby, fully on the way building a family of her own. She was still single, as she could not find yet the suitable man for her. Annika was always short with money, and she would hand her occasionally some cash, and she knew Annika spent it on playing the lotto and crash cards, but she just ignored it. Annika dreamed that maybe she could win a big amount. She could buy a car. Her big dream. Suddenly, Marie jerked. She remembered where she saw the face of the man in the red car. Annika was in her house and looking at the weekly magazine. There they saw him, the good-looking and charming man. Marie looked for that particular number from staples of magazines under the center table in the living room, and when she found it, she quickly looked for the pages that featured the man in the red car. The coverage was about the new mayor of the town, a flamboyant millionaire who entered the politics and did win. Although he looked young, the mayor was on his late 40s of age and liked to drive his red sports car. He was married, and the couple have one daughter. Marie looked at also the red sports car, and she saw that the plate number was the same plate number that Annika had dreamed. The next day, Marie did not go to work. She thought to herself that she must tell George and Annika's family that the dream of Annika about the red car had something to do with her death. She let them see the magazine.
Are you insinuating that the mayor has something to do with the death of Annika?
I don't know, but there's a connection.
The parents of Annika were also skeptical that the mayor had something to do with the death of Annika.
Annika dreamed what she read from that magazine. The plate number of the red car can clearly be seen.
The plate number could give justice to her. The man in her dream said it.
Marie, forget everything. The dream of Annika had nothing to do with her death.
Frustrated Marie could do nothing but to accept that the dream of Annika about the red car and Annika's death were not connected at all. One evening, Marie was driving home from a colleague's house when she noticed she was driving behind the red sports car. Her heart beats fast when she saw that the red sports car stopped and the mayor picked a teenager girl. With all the adrenaline in her, she decided to follow the red sports car, but then she lost it. The traffic lights had taken care of it. She was forced to stop by the red lights, and the red car speed out her sight. That night, Marie could hardly sleep. She was concerned about the young girl. She could do nothing but only to hope that no terrible thing would happen to that sweet, innocent face who fully endorsed herself to somebody when she stepped into the car. The young girl with the platinum blonde hair. The next morning, the day was Saturday, and Marie woke up late as it was weekend and she doesn't have to work. After she had prepared her breakfast, she took it to the living room and opened the TV. She wanted to know if there's something in the news about the girl, for she had a strong belief that there's something bad had happened to that teenager, but there's no news about it. The next day, Sunday, the thought of Marie was still occupied about that girl, but same as yesterday, there's no news about what she expected would happen. So she thought to forget, for nothing terrible happened anyway. Monday, Marie was driving to her work when she turned the radio on to listen music when there was an interruption. It was a flash report about a young girl found dead and naked precisely on the same spot that Annika was found. The young girl has a platinum blonde hair. Marie headed her car to the police station. The police must know who is responsible for the death of the young girl and of Aniko.
Sitting in front of an officer, Marie told him that she knew who was the murderer.
The murderer of who?
Of the young girl and of my cousin Annika.
Annika?
Yes, she was found on the same place, also naked and dead, about 6 months ago.
The police looked at his colleague, who said to him about a woman that was a wife of a truck driver.
Ah, now I know what you mean. And you know who murdered them?
Yes, the man with the red sports car.
The man with the red sports car. Do you know him? What is his name?
You may not believe me, so I guess I must tell everything from the start.
Okay, tell us.
My cousin Annika has a job interview that day. I went to her house to babysit her child, but before she leave, she told me about her dream.
Dream?
She dreamed about the red sports car, and the driver of the car had given her a plate number.
Wait a minute. I thought you came here to tell us who were the murderer of the two women.
That is what I am about to tell. That the murderer was the driver of that red sports car.
The man in the dream?
Yes, he gave the plate number to Annika and told her it will give her justice.
Woman, go home. Do something useful in your life. You only come here for that nonsense. Hank, let this woman out.
The police officer told Marie to go home. Marie was irritated because the police won't believe her, especially when the officer told another police to guide Marie out the bureau.
Wait, that dream of Annika became real.
You're talking nonsense. You are crazy, or are you just making jokes to what we were doing here? Go home.
The police officer stood up and went away. The other policeman, who answered to the name of Hank, guided Marie out the bureau and said to her,
"You better go home. You're not feeling well."
I am really not feeling well, because nobody will listen to me. You even did not know, and all in this bureau, who was the murderer of that two women.
And you know.
Yes, the owner of the red car, the mayor of the city.
Seriously? Do you know who you are accusing? It's our mayor. Are you sure with your allegations?
That's why I came here, for you people to investigate. I really believe he has to do with the murders, especially to that teenager.
Of course.
Of course. So, you know already that the mayor has something to do with that teenager.
It's in the newspaper. That young girl was the daughter of the mayor.
What?
Yes. So go home, relax, and visit your doctor.
I could hardly believe it. That young girl was the daughter of the mayor? The driver of the red sports car?
Yes. And you would also not believe what just happened half an hour ago.
Why? What happened half an hour ago?
The mayor and his wife were on their way to the morgue to identify the body, but they have an accident. The mayor and his wife were dead.
The whole day, the news covered about the accident. The mayor and his wife did not survive. There's a whole coverage of what happened in the TV. the place where the daughter of the mayor was found dead, on the same spot where Annika was also found. The photos of both Annika and the daughter of the mayor were featured also, as the police still did not solve the case who murdered the two women, and asking the public for any information that could lead to the perpetrator of the crime. The wreckage of the red sports car was featured, and in the photos, Marie could clearly see the plate number that Annika dreamed about. From what happened, Marie thought, how could the plate number of the red sports car give justice to Annika? Annika had dreamed about it for nothing? Marie, how she tried it, but she could not put together the puzzle of Annika's dream, the murders, and the red sports car.
Hello everybody. I am Remedios Dorio. I am the creator of this video and authored the content story. I am 78 years old, and with God's willing would be 79 this coming July 13th, 2025. The theme of the story, as you all know already, is about dream. I myself believe in dream. I considered it as a divine message. The dream of Annika, I will interpret it as a strong message to her. The meaning of a car is the ambition of Annika. But the color red means danger, aggressiveness. When she touched the car, it was cold. A warning that she must go away or fled as fast as she can because it would be fatal for her. In Marie's involvement with Annika, she also received a message of warning. A strong message because it manifested in real, not in a dream. Parking car means whatever you are doing you have to abandon because there's nothing you can do. Either you believe in dreams or not. Bear in mind that in the Bible, God speaks to his chosen ones through dreams. So I am curious to your comments. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribes. Thank you, wishing you good health, good life, and may God bless us all.